We want to jump into a greater discussion of the technology issues. And this is Jim Sharp's expertise. And Jim, wanted to ask you about this. When you're talking about the money that might be needed, in the last segment, we talked about, do you have the right technology in place? And you were explaining that in a lot of cases, private family businesses don't. How much do you need to then get up to speed to help close the deal?
Well, first and foremost, Adam, with technology, you've got to do some convincing that technology spend, whatever it may be, as a percent of sales and revenue, and there are benchmarks out there that are easy to point to. We have a host of case studies we use to explain to family-owned businesses how much they should be spending. But the mindset, I find, in most family businesses, they view it as an expense. They view it as something they want to squeeze cost out of. Wrong answer. They really need to view it as an investment in helping them build their business. Every business should be a digital business. Every business should be looking to deploy technology as a way to improve employee productivity, which lowers cost. They should be using it to make their competitive position higher, better, improving market share. So I think step one is think about IT as an investment. We can share with them the dollars that they need, depending on the market segment that they're in. But that is job one. Look at IT when deployed and fully functional as an investment, just like you would hiring a new sales rep, rolling out a new marketing plan, putting in some perks through your HR system. This is an investment.
Russ, how do you help the private family identify if they've got the right IT leadership in place?
Yeah, I mean, IT leadership, I just want to play on a point that Jim said earlier, but to me, like, data is the new gold, right? We start thinking about informational, that organizations have. How do we kind of move that envelope forward? To me, is understanding kind of where you are and doing the right analytics and the right business analytics relating to your particular market segment can move that organization forward, and obviously take 1 and 1 maybe equal 3 to 5 to 10, from an organizational perspective. I would say your IT leadership, and also frankly your CFO as well, and others need to be all aligned from a data analytics perspective to kind of move that forward and be prepared for that. It's not just does the mouse work, right? It's about, hey, listen, let's make sure that our data and information can help us make the right business decisions. I kind of look at it, can we make evidence-based decisions? Not just, hey, we've been in this business a long time and our gut says X. It really should be, what's the data telling us both internally and externally, and can we move that decision process forward from an evidence point of view?
John, the private equity side of this would know the kinds of people they would need. And we've already established in some cases that some family businesses don't have perhaps that leadership. That's not a deal killer, though. I mean, you can bring in the people you need to get them there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of times private equity will view that as an area where they can add value, is bringing their relationships to bear, and just helping kind of institutionalize some processes that could be improved, and as Russ said, we live in, this digital age. And I think I think it's important to just first gather the information that you need, but then also sometimes there's so much data being created that you can't understand it. So I think having the right people in place to gather the right information for the business, and then also to actually understand that data to make decisions going forward is really important.
Stephen Malure, I come from a family of lawyers, and I like to pick on lawyers, but I would imagine that what gets overlooked in this kind of discussion is the legal expenses to make sure IT and technology are where they need to be, because there's exposure on every side, is there not?
Absolutely. So part of that is in terms of licensing and any contracts as it relates to IT. Make sure that you have an IP lawyer who's very familiar with it. So you have appropriate indemnifications, warranties to ensure that you're getting what you think you're getting. on whatever software or IT that you're engaging in. So it's absolutely critical to have good counsel in that area.
Steve Weinberger, at my last job, I was at Fox, a major media company. And yet we ran into this issue repeatedly, being told, do not use this digital or technological issue behind the scenes because of the licensing issues. How great an expense is this?
Well, it could be a big one. To build on the point about, investing in technology and what companies are looking for. And look, I agree. Technology is a value added. Unfortunately, family run businesses sometimes don't see it that way. And as an acquirer, I think John mentioned, look, as an acquirer, I don't really care about their systems. I only care about the cybersecurity of their IT. I'm going to put in my own guy. We're going to put in our own people. As John said, we're going to invest in integrating their IT system with ours. And the only thing I really care about is cybersecurity.
Sean, would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And just to kind of, enhance that, it's one thing to actually bring in someone who has the technical capabilities, at a very high level for a family business and for the family business to buy in. But that person has to be able to communicate to a wide audience, to a CEO, CFO, board, and really kind of understand in a way to actually get the issues across to them for them to buy in as well.
Jim, whether the family business was up to speed or not, and the private equity has money, there's always a cap as to how much people can spend to get to the place they want to be. What are the greatest hurdles to get the appropriate technology in place within budget?
I think it comes down to leadership, and we've heard this from all of the panel members, and it's why, we're on speed dial with most of the medium and large size private equity firms in the US. We have a stable, a roster, if you will, a team of experienced IT leaders that have been through mergers and acquisitions, that have the functional skills to understand the technology and the architecture. And as Steve Weinberger said, security, and then to be able to go in and do the digital transformation necessary to create the value of this new entity. So everybody's singing from the same songbook, but you need an experienced IT leader at the leadership table who's going to draw up your IT map with an emphasis on security to make this new entity really hum from an IT standpoint.
Again, it shouldn't be a surprise, right? So when you put together the math for a deal, you're doing projections, and part of that projection should include the cost of upgrading IT. So let's put it on the table well before we write a check, so there are no surprises and everybody's aligned.
Russ, to wrap this up very quickly, do you find in your experience that most times, as Steve just said, it is put on the table, the cost?
No, I think it's not.
It's not, but it should be done.
It should be done. 100% should be done. I think many times it's kind of glossed over, and I think it's the window that everyone kind of looks at is, hey, this is a cost rather than a driver of business. And hey, our systems work, we're okay, versus we really want to make sure our data and information is secure is the most important thing that we have to kind of be mindful of. Again, to kind of create that long tail down the road where we have extra value to this organization. So to me, it's something that's missed, but I think as you can hear from all the panelists, we all kind of say, you need to make sure you're doing it right today.
Well, want to thank everybody for joining us today. Sean O'Dowd, Jim Sharp, John Butler, Russ Saperstein, Stephen Millor, and Steve Weinberger.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks a million, and good luck with the rest of your day. Thanks for being with us. That's a great job.